looks like we are live. You may tell the people now.
I am telling the people.
Yay! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Curse of the Crimson Throne.
Thermona.
Thermona.
Thermomenom.
Thermona. Sorry, I will never do that again, I promise.
Are you sure?
No.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
I owe no one anything. Who would like to do a recap of the past 117 episodes?
Oh,
Bet. Okay, hold on. So we start. I can't do the first 24. However,
it all started
Have
when
you-
Rhea
Have
came
you been
into
here?
town.
Have
The
you
new
been here
girl.
since session 25? Jeez.
yeah.
What have you been
Right?
doing this whole time? Your family's still mostly intact.
Not
She's
having a
been
tragic
building it.
backstory. Duh. Having a mentally well character.
we don't fancy that here.
fucking stability and shit.
Any takers? Anyone?
You could always, tell us what you think happened.
Oh my god, I'll do it. Okay.
I'm the DM. I know. I don't have to. By all means, let us know.
So there were a lot of conversations that had to happen. Most of them were with Amelia. She was taking up a lot of screen time there. I do apologize. Except not because it was super important and character development. Yes, with me, myself, and I. You're welcome. I expect my what is it? My Oscar in the mail.
Now you guys know what it's like to be a DM. Running
Yeah.
multiple NPCs.
I already know what it's like to be a DM.
Let my fox be a mech!
No.
I'm sorry,
You can
Alora.
have this argument
That
on
was
Wednesday,
very rude
guys.
of us. It was very rude of us. Please
I
continue.
can't believe this. I need to talk to my manager because this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable condition. So yeah, there was a conversation with Rhea and Amelia, and Rhea just being like, no, you can't back out of this. We're not going to have, like, when are we going to have time to have this conversation later? And Amelia's like, fuck, you're right. Okay, fine. And so she dragged Annika over into the throne room and was like, hey, I know that you're in love with Varric. And Annika's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you crazy bitch. And Amelia's like, well, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him that I don't like him, and you can either be there or you can be a square. So please don't make me do this. Fine, okay, all right. And so they had a conversation, and it was really awkward. Varric was ready to get his ass completely and utterly dumped. He was not expecting the context. Amelia tried to preface this with, this is a very complicated situation. He really underestimated that it was in fact a complicated situation. Ross was guarding over Muiri, much like a mother hen, and was trying to make sure that she got rest. Rhea, Annika, Amelia, and Fancastigan were having a conversation with Eli as well, just generally checking in, seeing how he's doing, and then was like, hey, do you want like an actual like bath and a bed? I have a thing And he's like, fuck yeah, please, yes, right now. That would be great. Fantastic, wonderful. And so they opened the mansion. They didn't tell anyone about it. They didn't hide the door. So, like, no less than 20 guards were pointing at it with spears and swords, waiting for some kind of invasion to
Like a
come.
black dragon to just burst through.
We have to be ready for anything, men. Just hold the It's fine. It's ours. I'm so sorry. It's fine. Serious? So Amelia hung out with Rhea for a little bit as Rhea watched some dancing going on with little baby Rhea and her dad in one of the rooms that showed a little bit of the past. And Eli decided that he wanted to dance as well, so he was twirling and having a good old time. And then hmm. I'm trying to remember how it ended because that's right. Weary snuck out like a fucking teenager, and Ross thought she was sneaky. She was so close. She was so close, except not at all to creeping up on Weary, and Weary was like, Ross, miss, you need to go back to bed. And Ross was like, you're going out on your own, and I don't want you to go out on your own. And Mary was like, I'm going to my temple. If I go there, or am I going to find you following me? No. All right, go back to bed. And so she went out and she had a conversation with her little baby boy, little Mallow, which essentially equated to, hey, so I've done a lot of really really bad things, like a lot like a lot of really 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 bad things, in the hopes that you wouldn't have to get into this, and that I would be able to save everyone by sacrificing a smaller amount of everyone. But now everyone's just gonna die, and I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm really scared and I need your help. And Weary was like, fucking bet. And so now we need to real quick figure out what the fuck we're gonna do about Gadrian before he literally sacrifices all of Corvosa.
All right.
Marshmallow? Oh my fucking god.
Inspiration earned by Alora. Eternal hatred earned by Rhea.
By Rhea?
Yep. I
My
believe
baby's done nothing wrong.
I believe that is Rhea who is typing in the chat.
No, that is Rhea AC 20, passive perception
Look,
16.
I'm not looking to full titles, all right? I don't know how you paladins work.
I technically have an inspiration if anyone needs one.
Technically, as opposed to the many other kinds of possibly having inspiration that do not include technically.
Ooh, does anyone want it?
I'll
Partly.
take it if you don't
Okay.
need it.
Yes, you
Sweet.
can have one.
Okay, so when we ended last session, thank you by the way, Laura. Murray, you were on your way home. You had a slightly disconcerting, very small conversation with a rather pleasant black dragon. And we are going to, unless anyone needs anything, I assume we're going to return to the Dead Hollows, or the Dead Warren. Dead Warrens, yes.
Spooky Hollows.
Spooky Hollows.
I believe we at some point need to go talk to Marcus.
No.
You already
Like,
have. Well, that's not true. You verified what happened to him. You haven't spoken to him about things. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do that in the morning. We could have Murray wake everyone up. What's the plan?
I don't know, Mom. What's the plan?
What time is it right now?
1 in the morning.
Yeah, she's not gonna fucking wake everybody up. Everybody gets up. Get your long rest,
You
y'all.
have pots and spoons. I'm just saying.
I ain't get no sleep because of y'all.
I mean, technically, Aras would have stayed awake and at the front of the Greys until Murray got back, so...
Got you. Well, then we'll start there. Murray, you approach the Greys and you see a Ross, sitting, standing, somersaulting at the gates of the Greys?
Weary
think-
looking to join the troop.
I think at this exact moment, Aras has probably walked out as much of her energy through anxiety as she can, so she would be sitting up against the wall, chewing her fingernails.
You know, that's really bad for you. You shouldn't be. That's gonna
You're
cause-
asleep.
Never mind. I'm passed out in a mansion.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you are. That I don't know is open. Yay!
It'd be like that.
Oh, real quick. Where did the walk happen, Squee? Like, was
Just
it,
up and down the hollows. I imagine they would have found a side room at some point.
All right, cool. Anyways, sorry.
She's referring to the talk between Varric, Vencaster Kid, and Annika that took place off session.
Sure did.
So, where you come across Ross sitting with her back against the wall.
She steps up and leans down and pats your shoulder gently, Ross.
Oh, hey. Glad to see you've made it back.
Wish I had better tidings to bring.
I take it that... Well, you'll tell us later. Everybody, I think, is inside in the mansion. I can show you where they set it up. Or we can find it together. I think Amelia told me which room it was supposed to be in. And Russ will proceed to start leading you in that general area. Do I have to...
No, she's just quiet. It's clear that she's thinking.
So I'm assuming eventually Uras finds the correct door.
It's
The
really
only
hard to
door?
miss. Yeah. You'd basically walk into the first room and you'd be like, "Oh, look, glowing mansion door."
I
That
didn't know that door.
there they are. They proceed to walk in.
Uh-huh.
I think it's they're Mori and Ria, or not Mori, Amelia. And Ria are probably asleep. And we should probably figure out what we're gonna do and discuss meeting Marcus or talking to Marcus, or at least I can send another message to tell Marcus that somebody else is coming for them, or to talk to them.
Last time you slept, Ross?
Yesterday? Wait, is it after midnight?
It's 1 a.m.
You would. I mean, I dozed earlier. You know.
Weary clicks her beak. Go rest, child. I shall not run off until morning.
Okay. Marcus will be fine. Yeah, I told him we should be there before nightfall, but that's okay.
She cocks her head. If I need to speak with him, I can. We will use a sending spell.
Okay.
She'll say, Mr. Indran, I apologize for the late hour. I trust you are safe. Where may we meet you? Where may we meet you come morning? She's not about to move the whole troop out. It's 1 in the goddamn.
There is a reply. Same place. Will be there. Good night.
She touchy.
You messaged someone at 1 in the morning.
I'm an owl.
I know you are. I know.
And since Miri's already had her long rest for the day, she will probably sequester herself in the castle kitchen and keep herself busy there.
Okay. I don't know exactly which room that is, one of them. But they do need a
Probably the
kitchen,
one with
so...
all the foodstuffs.
Is it more like a cafeteria or is it a kitchen?
I mean, they'd need to have like an actual kitchen, and then
Right.
I believe it was the ballroom area. Sort of had like tables that were
Ballroom?
ballroom, whatever the fucking main chamber was that was in there in the castle.
The throne? In what castle? What are we
In
talking about?
the mansion, Squee.
Oh, in the
Ria's
Oh.
castle.
Which is which is modeled after
Okay.
Ria's house.
I was thought we were talking about the dead Warrens, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, the castle
The
and the
ballroom.
Dead Warrens.
The ballroom in the Dead Warrens, where you fought the... What the heck? Yes, you're absolutely correct. In the mansion. Okay, Murray. You are constantly battered about by invisible servants running to and fro preparing food.
Oh, that's going to annoy her really fast. She may leave.
Because unfortunately, they don't listen to you.
Teehee.
We will cut until morning when everyone starts waking up. Aras, let's see, so it's 1 a.m., so if you rest until 9, you'll get your long rest.
Cool. I appreciate that. It'd be nice to have some spells.
It would be. Especially for what's coming. So, when you guys start waking up, what you do? It's been a long day. The long rest technical part of it aside, you guys are all exhausted. You all could probably use a very good night's sleep. So, when are you waking up? What are you doing? What's going on?
That's a good question. Huh.
How in character.
Mm-hmm. I would say, I mean, Amelia's probably just gonna normal routine, wash face, makeup, head downstairs. Well, downstairs, head to like the main area and fucking wait for people. Um, Actually, she would probably go straight for Weary.
Okay. Mary will be somewhere in the mansion.
Yeah, you find her.
Still
She
in the
has
kitchen.
no. She has taken some raw materials from the kitchen and gone elsewhere.
Other servants bombarding you as they try to clean up the raw material.
Oh my god. I assume Mary could find some place out of the way.
Did it Rhea? There's a ton of rooms in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you'll find her in one of the rooms. She's idly stirring a cup of tea.
Good. I'm glad you found your way in. Aurel seemed very intent on letting you sleep elsewhere. Good morning. Good.
Good morning. Would you care to join me?
Uh, yeah, sure. She looks tired, but also like there's less of a weight on her. She looks slightly less stressed than she has in a while, which is odd.
So Mary hands you a cup of tea. She seems to have had spares, expecting other people to start getting up. You
Oh.
seem lighter today.
Oh, thank you. Do I? Pauses to consider it, blows on the tea. I guess so, yeah. I think I've got things a bit more figured out now. She nods slightly to herself and then gives a small smile as she takes a sip of tea and is like, nope, that's too hot. Too soon. How was your how was your sleep?
Sleep was restful. The night long.
Pauses, nods slowly. I see.
Mary cocks her head. Is there something on your mind, child?
I'm glad that you actually got some rest. Well, I'm honestly not surprised. Ross was guarding your room like a mother hen. Pauses. It's just takes a slow sip of tea.
That's still too hot.
Just suffers through it. There's a little bit of a wince. Um. So, have you seen any of the others? Did Ross actually come in here this morning? Or is she still outside?
Assume Ross came in with.
Oh, she did. She came in and went straight to bed. Room.
Yeah. Under the cupboard.
I may have coaxed her into sleep.
Good. I think we're all going to need it at this point.
I dare say we will. She blows idly on the tea and taps her talon on the rim of the cup. I saw my son yesterday. This morning.
Oh! The the one that rides the dragon now?
Weary closes her eyes. Yes, that one.
Puts down the tea, scoots it gently away from her, folds hands. Where did you was this this was ascending, right?
And Weary's eyes crinkle up at the corners. To start.
Did you go out to see him?
Dear Amelia, I dare say, you having family of your own, will know that there are certain people in the world to whom you can never really say no. Yes. He asked to meet with me, and I agreed. I took precautions, but he did ask for me alone.
There's a long, quiet pause. Slowly nods. I see. That was rather dangerous. I suppose I understand.
You might. He has given me unsettling news about the inner workings of the castle, and about the fate of Corvosa and all of its occupants.
Is this something that should wait for the others, or?
Let them rest for now. When I wake and gather, I will tell them.
Pauses and waits, like, are you gonna say anything? No? Okay. Carefully picks tea up, blows, tests it one more time. Okay, it's safe.
Mary, leans back against the wall. I trust something has happened this evening. Just changed your outlook on things.
She pauses again, slowly puts down the cup of tea.
You know, you can hold it and talk at the same time. You don't have to drink it.
Nope. Because she doesn't want to drop the cup.
Okay.
Well, and she kind of like turns the cup this way and that by the handle. I I figured some things out. Specifically about uh, uh Varric.
She cocks her head. May I ask what about him needed figuring out?
Not him. It. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. He's wonderful. It's um. She grimaces a little bit and next to her, Annika kind of appears, elbows leaning against the table. It appears that she rolls her eyes. Her feelings were not her own.
Many things, it seems, are shared between the two of you.
You're telling me. Amelia just nods and sips her tea. But we talked and he understands, and then glances over at Annika, and then we talked. And shrugs.
And now?
In unison, the two of them, in slightly different tones, goes, "We're friends."
Jesus Christ, poor Varric. I'm so glad he wasn't there to hear that.
Oh my god.
Okay, but are you though?
Amelia seems hopeful about it, and Annika seems actually kind of pleased.
Eric is piping.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, you stop that. Annika kind of leans like further against the table, kind of like floats there and grins slightly. He doesn't know what all to make of it, and she gestures at herself. That's not, I know it's not an issue. It won't be an issue forever, but we're going to try and start things off as friends. and see what comes of it. He's not very good about not diving face first into his feelings, and I don't know how to navigate mine. So, we'll see.
Wise on both counts.
Bursts through the door. Annika seems to have kind of a small smile and shrugs. Well, doing the smart thing has never been either our style, it seems, so. You don't cuddle the homies.
Sometimes the heart takes the lead, whether we like it or not.
I suppose it does. Amelia sips her tea.
Mary pours a cup and places it in front of Annika.
Annika looks down at it, looks back at Mary. You know, I know that you're doing it out of respect, but sometimes I can't help but wonder if you're making fun of me.
She looks at you blankly for a second. Why on earth would I be making fun of you?
Annika, still maintaining eye contact, just kind of swipes a hand through the cup, back and forth, and back and forth.
Mary looks down at it.
Dominance.
Forgive me. Force of habit, to make sure all of my family have enough.
Her hand pauses, and she blinks. Well, thank you for considering me. It just settles into the spot.
There appears to be much evidence in your life that should tell you that you are worth considering.
Oh, boy. I certainly hope so. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
No, this is the
Oh,
morning.
this is the morning.
there.
This is after everyone's
Okay,
woken up.
morning.
Well,
Sorry.
everyone but a Ross, who is still catching
Still
up on her
zonked.
Z's. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll say it's like 7-ish.
Mm-hmm. Should we try and gather everyone, or?
Mary, like, cocks her head to look at the door.
Slowly attempts to summon the other children to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Spent a lot
go
of
ahead.
time running, and rest recently has been hard to come by.
That is very fair, but also your wage. Uh, I know that, but um, kind of chews on her lip and glances back at the door. If things are that desperate that your son came to you, we may not have time to wait.
Weary sighs. What I'm afraid of.
Right at that
Uh,
moment,
Oh, go ahead.
a young man walks into the room, catches you a little bit by surprise, Murray, as you've not really seen him without his makeup and costume. I would think that with your observation skills, it wouldn't take you more than a second or two to realize it's Eli. And Eli would stop. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this. And just turns around and starts to walk right out.
You're welcome to stay if it pleases you.
Yeah, we're not really. It's. Would you like some tea? Hefts her cup a little.
We'll slowly walk over to the table and sit next to Weary. I have never had tea.
What?
I, well, he kind of looks sheepishly. There are certain things that we refrain from as a matter of dedication. I have only ever drinking water, or in times of necessity for a contract, wine.
Pours him a cup.
Don't-
Takes a
don't-
jar from her bag and scoops out a spoonful of honey. Stirs it in. And sets it in
Don't-
front of him.
Sorry, go.
Oh. And let this be the first step. Unshackled into the world.
Don't take a gulp and make sure it cools a little first.
He will look at Amelia, look at Weary, take the cup in both hands, and take a sip.
Amelia winces.
He closes his eyes. That is very unique. And takes another sip.
Xubik, you're allowed to tell me if you don't like it.
What? No, it's wonderful. Just, I fear that maybe I have kept myself from far too many things. I don't really know how to. It's good. He takes another sip, a bigger one.
I'm pleased you like it.
It has a slightly bitter aftertaste.
She nods. Perhaps I let it steep a little too long, but good conversation does that, and honey helps.
He shakes his head. It's not unpleasant.
How was your rest?
Dreamless and wonderful. Thank you.
Amelia just nods understandingly.
I should be honest, I heard your entire conversation. I'm really sorry. Force of habit, I listened. I'm sorry.
Amelia's face goes red. What part of the...
All of it.
Oh.
I guess old habits die hard. I was listening for quite some time before I even realized what I was doing. You have my apologies.
Weary waves a hand. It is forgiven, at least for me.
Thank you. I will try not to do so again.
So, what do you plan to do from here?
I don't know. I was thinking, and he kind of looks at the tea and starts to drink it down to, like, buy time. Drinks as much as he can, and then sets it down.
Amelia grimaces.
I was thinking of asking Rhea where her family stays. There's someone there that I must... Well...
Jolistina.
He nods. After I come with you, of course. Rhea has told me that I should speak with Shala. It would seem that the days ahead have many conversations I am not looking forward to.
Some conversations should be had, regardless of want. And she gives kind of an awkward smile. There was a conversation that I didn't want to have with Jolistina once. But I am glad that I had it. I never would have forgiven her otherwise.
I am sorry that she caused you so much pain. It is mostly my fault. She was sweet once and kind.
She shakes her head. I don't know what exactly your past is other than what we saw in your mind, but I know that you are not the only person who changed her.
No.
She and I share our own boogeyman, but he's gone now.
That is true. But I am... He takes a long breath. I am not going to move forward by denying what I have done. But I will also not forget that and he hesitates, that I was trying to help.
There's only so much you can do under the eye of a manipulative tyrant. If the state of Corvosa is anything to go by.
Yes. Well, I suppose the one at the end of the day the only one that can judge me would be Julistina herself. We shall see. But for the time being, I must go speak with Shala. And I would like to see Iso again. Actually, he would say Isolanda. I don't think he would use her nickname. He's not familiar enough with her, like Shala was. I would like to see Isolanda again. In any case, I don't know if I got to properly thank you, all of you. That was very foolish and very brave. And thank you.
Mary clicks her beak. I think you'll find we excel at those kinds of things.
Yes.
Amelia just nods.
I have been watching you all for a long time. I know. I simply... What's the saying? Observant when it comes to everything but yourself.
I wouldn't know anything about that. What are you talking about?
Do you guys hear those chainsaws?
Oh, fuck.
The chat.
Talking about the snoring and chat.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Having shared tents with them, I can tell you'll get used
Rhea doesn't snore.
How would you
No,
know
it's
you're always
poor
asleep?
lady.
Otherwise.
How would you know you're always asleep?
Because I made her.
No, it's portly.
It's absolute.
But after that, he would fall silent and simply slowly enjoy the rest of his tea.
A moment of,
Gulping it down like a heathen.
After a moment of silence, Mary will tap her claw on the rim of her cup. Seems to me that you have spent a lot of time watching the world as an outside observer. Having forsaken such things as life's smallest pleasures. She taps the cup again. Surely there are things that pique your interest.
Many things. The world, the people in the world fascinate me. I like watching them. But the world was never for me. I was never really a part of it. I was an observer from the outside, controlling it, pulling strings, but never a part of it. If there was a saying once, a famous bard, I do not know their name, said that the world was a stage. If that's so, then I was always behind the scenes, behind the curtains, never an actor upon it. That was never my place.
I mean, how else are the curtains supposed to be pulled back? Stage supposed to be lit, the music for the tone.
Amelia kind of shrugs. Just because you weren't out on the stage didn't make you less important.
Important? No. Not less important. But life isn't a play, Amelia. I was a manipulator.
Well, you don't have to be anymore.
He nods. I don't want to be. But I do admit that I find myself at a bit of a loss. I don't know what I want, beyond a few small things. I suppose it hasn't really sunk in yet. And he taps his head. I can still feel like she's there. Like a part of me is just waiting for her to return at any moment.
You don't have to answer this, but was that the inspiration for your phantom's spell?
What exactly do you mean?
Oh, it's just the way you describe it, her always being there, always at the back of your mind, always
Ah,
watching, always listening, always saying something.
he nods. You are very clever, Amelia. Yes, you can say I had first-hand experience on what can drive someone insane. You find the person they hate the most or that can cause them the most pain, and you make sure they never leave their side. Very effective, wouldn't you say?
She winces and nods.
I am sorry.
No, it's all right. It may have actually saved my sister.
Yes. I felt when that happened. Rather satisfying, if I do say so myself. He was a despicable man. I know I spent a lot of time wishing I could free you from your haunts that I gave you. I suppose I never expected that you would free me from mine.
considerate repayment.
For what? He looks genuinely surprised. I've done
I
nothing
mean-
but cause you pain.
I mean, we may not have known everything that you had done in the moment, but from the beginning you've been working to try and keep Shola safe. And because of who you chose, kind of nods her head at Muiri, it honestly probably did us more good than anything.
That
Muiri
is...
was able to connect with someone who was able to help. Ross was able to have answers from her father finally. Rhea was, she grimaces. That was very unfortunate, but we were able to find out what had happened to him, and now we will be able to write it. And he was able to protect her on several occasions. And in the end, I was able to find where my sister's body was.
I had not looked at it like that. If only I could take credit for doing it purposefully. But the past is the past, right?
I think all things considered, things have turned out rather well.
Ria, I would say about this time, like you've made the final walk through the rooms, and at some
Okay.
point around now, you would pass close enough to hear the conversation.
Sure. So she would probably step in by this point then?
Good morning, Rhea. Tea?
Oh, good morning. Yes, please.
Murray will pour you a cup.
She would, take it and sit down. Well then, what is our plan for the day?
Well, I suppose we wait for Ross to wake up and then figure out where we need to go next. Annika just like elbow on the table. Do you want me to go get her? Looks at everyone.
Murray nods. If you would, please.
Disappears.
So Aras,
Yes.
you can technically like go join them. The long rest doesn't have to be full sleep, and at this point, you would have gotten at least 6 hours of sleep. So as long as you don't do anything strenuous for the next 2 hours, you can still be counting it towards your long rest. So you can still join them and discuss things.
Okay.
And you can just do that thing that you mentioned to me after your long rest.
Okay, I got it. So, Aras is in their room setting up stuff. But, didn't actually cast any spells yet. That's... I mean,
Yeah.
would that still
Correct.
be okay?
No, that would be absolutely be okay. I was gonna say you'd be asleep because you still needed that 6 hours or so of sleep.
Oh, okay.
Because this is like 7-ish in the morning. You went to bed at 1.
Okay, sure.
You could have set stuff up beforehand. I mean, like, the stuff can be set up. That's not a problem.
Yep. So you come knock on Aras's door and
There is no knocking.
oh
There's only Ross.
Ross, run.
Ross.
what she jumps and like hits her head on the bed that she sleeps under. Yep. I'm up. I'll be down in a minute. Oh, damn, that hurt.
Like from the other side of the door, just like, you okay?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yep. I just forgot I wasn't as small as I once was. But smaller than I used to be. It's fine. It's fine.
You can feel the squinting from the other side of the door.
Yes, because when I was a half elf, I hit my head under the bed much less.
You know, I figure different heights for different castles, but that you see Ross at the door ready to follow you downstairs.
You sure you're good? You
Yep. She's just like rubbing her head.
okay? All right. Okay. Squints a
How are
little. I'm fine.
Good. I hope you slept well.
Stops dead. Turns and looks. I don't. Ross, I'm dead.
Right. Sorry. I trust you had a good night.
Yeah, just like waves her hand dismissively. Sure, yes. lead Ross into the room.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I was.
At which point, Eli would be enjoying his second cup of tea.
A little slower than the first.
Chug.
No, actually, I think he's getting faster at it.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting the hang of this.
This isn't shots, Squee.
Wait.
Maybe if you're a coward.
If they didn't want you to do shots with teas, why would they put it in a cup so small?
Fucking why were you what
Shouldn't use a save for Ria for these kinds of things.
No.
Bonus is too high.
yeah, just
Yeah,
with normal like wisdom check.
Fuck. Never mind.
You fool.
So, everybody ready to tackle the day, wherever that may lead?
Yes, I spoke with Marcus briefly last night.
Very briefly.
Much to his chagrin, I'm sure.
Is everything okay?
He is alive and prepared to meet with us.
That's good.
Further, I bear tidings from my son. Given me some rather unsettling news. I felt it prudent to share it with all of you.
Eli kind of looks up. Should I go?
Amelia just looks at everyone else, just like.
Rhea looks at Moiri because, I mean, this is information from her son.
Mary shakes her head. Stay if it pleases you.
He looks genuinely confused.
You can stay if you want to. You don't have to leave.
Okay.
He asked to meet with me yesterday evening.
Oh?
I fear that despite his best efforts, things are spiraling rapidly out of control.
Things? There are quite a few things, yes, that are spiraling.
Not the least of which is that via some mean, Gadrian, through his puppet queen, is planning on sacrificing the entire city. Every man, woman, and child.
When?
She shrugs. When he is able to.
That does. All right.
Rhea stands up. Then we should catch up on the work we need to do.
Right, yes. That definitely puts a timeline on things. So we should head back to the Greys after talking to Marcus?
You mean the Callow Mountains?
Sorry, yes, the Callow Mountains.
It's like you're
We
at the
keep
Grays.
doing this, guys. We keep doing this. There's too many graveyards in this fucking game.
Speak for yourselves.
The other graveyard, I'm sorry.
Thea would be at home.
Or-
She would.
Should we send else to Marcus? Kind of feel like he should come with us, but I'm not sure.
No.
We could probably ask him when we see him.
Well, I'm going, I think. I've nothing to wait around here for at the moment, and I would like to check up on the girls that we saved.
He nods. Looks around at the table. Adjourned for now, shall we?
Yes. I vote aye.
When did we? What?
Oh, sorry, I forgot we don't follow parliamentary procedure.
What?
Varric starts filibustering.
Of course.
Vetoed. Denied.
You
whatever
can't
the fuck.
veto or deny a filibuster. That's the point.
You can if they're not there to filibuster anymore.
That's true.
Will you be joining us, Eli, or would you like to stay in the Dead Warrens for a bit?
Oh, no, I think I'd like to stay here for the moment.
She would nod. We'll be quick.
He nods. I don't suppose I can stay in the mansion.
Oh, she frowns a little. Unfortunately, once I leave, this will disappear.
He nods emphatically. No, that's perfectly understandable. That's fine. It's silly. I guess I'm still worried that she will find me.
She would shake her head. It's not silly. It's completely understandable, but you'll be safe here.
I know. I'm good. I'm good. Down's rest of tea. Thank you, Marie.
Anytime you like.
Murray, I gave you an amulet of non-detection one day. Maybe that would.
That to ISO.
I made two.
Oh,
I mean, maybe we could leave it with you. I mean, might help some.
Mary nods.
Oh! Eli suddenly looks up as if he just remembered something. In everything I forgot to mention, I can, Robin is alive.
what?
What?
He's trapped a bit. He's working through it. I made his haunt. I can still see through, Namara. He didn't die. I thought you'd want to know, at least.
Oh,
And
wait, Namara's still there, or?
Yeah. So, funny thing about that, the spell on all your haunts was released when you came to come find me, including hers. Though I have a suspicion she had taken control of that well before. Very dangerous, that one.
Slowly nods.
that's slightly worrying, and maybe we should put that on the list. We have other things to do right now.
Yes,
Mhm.
no, absolutely. I just thought that, you would want to know.
No, we appreciate it, Eli.
Eli nods.
Well, that's some good news to buffer things.
That's great. That's one more less dead brother I have to find. I mean, I still have to find him, but he's not dead.
Well, I mean,
Technically,
Yeah.
That's on a technicality, actually.
He's a bit
Just does like the fingers just like just a little bit.
Right. Oh.
well, shall we?
You all get up and exit the mansion.
And before we do, Mary will take the amulet from her neck and place it around Eli's.
What is this?
Stand not wanting to be watched. Perhaps it will give you some peace of mind.
And forgive an old DM, but is this a magical amulet?
Yeah,
Yes,
Ross
the
made it.
amulet of
The amulet of
The
non-detect.
second one. Okay, I thought she gave it to Amelia. I must have completely misunderstood that.
No.
He'll nod at it. Oh. And it being a magical item, he will. I think he has to attune to it, but otherwise. Yes, Sip, you were gonna say?
Just to clarify, I made one and gave it to Iso, and that was a moonstone, and I made one for Mweri out of malachite.
From Weary, right? I don't know why I was thinking Amelia. You know, they're so similar.
I have too many magic items already, Squee. I can't handle anymore.
He
Yeah, I
would.
think I was the only one who could attune to anything else at the moment.
He would look at it and look up at Weary. This is a great gift.
I mean, we might need it back. Sorry.
Of course. And he starts to take it off.
No.
Mary
don't-
waves the hand. That's an eventuality. It is yours for now.
I see. Thank you. Thank you. I think, while you guys go see this Marcus person, I'm going to go talk to Cinnabar.
Maybe try and talk her down.
I was there, when they broke her.
Oh,
She never expected someone like you. I can guarantee you that. I think she's confused more than anything. I will talk to her.
It would be appreciated.
He nods and starts making his way down to where Cinnabar is kept.
And Rhea would start walking towards the exit.
Moving you guys back to Kavarsa.
Gross. I hate it there.
I know. That's why you're trapped here.
Varric is staying at the Greys.
Varric is, for the moment at least,
Crying.
seeing to Crimson Guard duties, of which he has been very delinquent.
Getting cheated out by his boss.
Janitorial
I see,
duties.
I see.
If you remember, he disobeyed orders to come find you guys.
Again.
Again.
And got a promotion specifically so he wouldn't be fired.
Yep. Does not mean that he is. So when I say seeing to duties, we can pretty much assure that Cressida is spending the morning attending to her duties while giving him a tongue lashing every spare moment she has. Like, I want you to stand right here, and every time I have a spare moment, we are going to talk.
Wow. I was gonna ask if he had like guard duty for a week, but that's so much worse.
I mean, I don't think guard duty is viable right now.
It's one of those weird things. Mira, you would understand this most, as you've spent the most time around Cressida. It's one of those weird things where she certainly has a soft spot for Varric, and she thinks that he's going to be a wonderful guard one day, but he keeps just fucking it up, and...
Oh, poor bastard.
It's
He's
fine.
a good man. That doesn't mean he's a smart one. We know this about him. Yes.
So he just is going to stand there most of the morning, unconsciously holding his hand and listening to Cressida yell at him about honor and duty and responsibility.
Well, he just looks like a kicked puppy the whole time.
When does he not look like a kicked puppy?
Sometimes he just looks like a puppy that hasn't been kicked.
Yet.
You know what? I'm gonna roll something. I don't know if you guys would know this or not. So...
That's
Either
either
very good or
good
really, really bad.
Okay, you guys will learn later. You guys will learn later.
I don't like that.
You guys go on your way to go see Marcus.
Mhm.
What'd you do to doorbell?
You make your way towards Marcus. Doorbell is actually being taken care of in the graves. They have pinned off a section of the graveyard at the bottom towards like here. You know, where Catoblepus cannot hurt anything that's still alive.
You know, if they just leave him to wander, any undead that rise up are just gonna immediately get murdered.
Whereas you guys make your way to the unassuming house with the spider symbol on it. Mm-hmm. And as
Give us like a code or a special knock or something.
and as you say that, you just hear, "Come in."
Mage hands the door open.
Door mage hands open. It's rather dark inside. There's no light sources other than what windows let in.
Oh, that's irritating.
Leah is blind. Noted.
No, I'd say dim light conditions.
Light.
It's almost
so she's
like
mostly blind.
it's almost like there's a drow in there or something.
That's disgusting. Somebody cast daylight.
Roth is already pulling a sunrod out of her bag.
Guess who has the dawn spell prepared? It's me.
This is how we kill this man.
Better than coffee. Good morning. We bring the sunrise to you.
So, mage hand the door open. It's dim inside. Do you go in?
Yeah.
Inside, you'd find an almost entirely empty house, a few furnishings, so a couple of tables and chairs, and Marcus the drow sitting at one of them with what looks to be a very simple meal of bread and water. He looks up. Well, you all survived. That's good to see.
Does he sound surprised? I suppose that's an insight
That
check.
would be an insight check. Yes, he sounds very surprised.
Well, you don't have to sound so surprised about it. Amelia looks a little offended as she walks in.
It's not every day a small group of people assault the headquarters of the Grey Maidens.
We're good at destroying your expectations and then underperforming in the new ones, so you know.
Oh no, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. You are wonderful at destroying my expectations of your prowess in battle and my sleep schedule. You are wonderful.
What
was that?
Yeah, looks over at Weary like.
Sorry,
Mary,
that was my bad.
Mary tuts gently. My apologies for alerting you to our continued survival.
He waves his hand away. I am being sarcastic. Please, come, have a seat.
Are there any of the other young gray
No.
maiden recruits?
He is alone in this house.
So, I have a question, Marcus.
Yes.
The other people, are they still?
The Crimson Guard felt it would be best for they not be left in the company of a drow. They have been relocated to I don't know where.
That was probably a decision.
Did we
That was
tell
made.
the guard where they were exactly? That's a little concerning.
Not did you guys not tell Cressida at all?
We
No,
told
we told
Cressida
her.
about Marcus.
I don't think we
Right.
told her where he was exactly.
I am not certain of the details, but I can promise you she would have asked so that people could go collect them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
It might not
sure
have
that
been
actual Crimson Guard, you
Yes,
know?
no, yes. So the actual Crimson Guard went immediately to get them out of danger. And also because they are with someone that Cressida is not sure she trusts. So, yes, it would have been the actual Crimson Guard would have come to pick them up. They wouldn't be at the Hollows. They would be another location that is safer and under Crimson Guard protection.
Just, you know,
No,
Wait.
I feel it's best to specify that. I don't remember if that was part of the conversation or not, but that is 100% something Cressida would have immediately asked for and done. Because she would have been, and was, devastated to hear about what was going on, and would have gotten them out of there as quickly as she could.
Okay.
Especially because she has no idea if she can trust this Marcus Indrin guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we have to go take care of some business. Away from the city for
Away
a
from
little
the city. His
bit.
eyes widen. You're just leaving.
No,
I mean, we'll be right back. It's
He raises an eyebrow.
Amelia like holds up a finger. What? 1 second. Like,
we want more information. We have to leave. The assaults on Deathhead's vault was the only reason we had to come back so quickly.
Right, well, without knowing your full strategy or what you're doing, I suppose I can't really judge you. So, good luck, I suppose.
well, no, hey, just one sec. Like, starts dragging everyone off to like a different corner of the room. Just like, do we want like tell him like how much are we going to? But he's technically. She
You know
very
I can read lips, yes?
turns her face away from him. Technically, like tiny, like bunny air quotes. He's technically an ally, which could be useful. But it's, how much are we?
Moiri like looks over at Marcus. I
You-
presume you have plans for yourself and Marcus Indrin, the persona you've adopted.
Yes, I intend to expose him, and by him, I mean her, as a fraud. And hopefully convince the rest of my people to return home.
Turns, shakes her head. No, him.
Aras kind of leans over to Amelia and goes, "We're talking about the queen, right?"
Yeah, I may need to say that out of character. I don't know if Marcus Indrin knows who Gadrian even is. I think
Yeah,
he just only knows Iosa. So
I know.
yeah, so he would have just said her.
Yeah, no. Oh, Amelia's correcting him.
Yeah.
She turns to everyone, just like, no, but we need to decide, like, how much are we going to?
So I feel like Marcus could provide valuable context, and knowledge without context is decidedly less helpful.
Vote for yes, right, Ria? I mean, Wiri?
Trust him.
What?
I trust him.
Wiri?
Mary casts an eye over at Marcus. You are a man who serves a god I hate, who has made a career out of lying.
Opens mouth, closes mouth. Just,
If
Lying, she holds up a talon, and ending in murder.
true and true. If it helps, I don't serve Loth out of a desire or a will. More out of a I don't have a choice in the matter. Either I please her, or I become a drider, which I assure you is not a fate I would look forward to. Praise be her name, of course, he says, waving his hand.
very dismissal.
Uh-huh.
Peace be unto her.
And yes, I did kill Marcus Indrin, though, given what little I know of your disposition, you should be thanking me for it. Oh, the things he was into.
Squinting. What exactly is that supposed to mean?
Let us just say that when I came upon Marcus to assume his identity, he was doing very naughty things. The world is probably better off without him. Men with power can sometimes let it go to their heads. Wouldn't you agree?
I see.
But yes, I am no saint. I have murdered and lied my way through many tough situations in life to accomplish the goals that I have either set for myself or have been thrust upon me more commonly. I serve a goddess of deceit and lies, and I have very much murdered. So nothing you said was wrong. But I did help your friends, and you, and we do share the same goal. More or less, he says, like looking off to the side.
And what is the lesser part of that?
Well,
Mary cocks her head. Oh, fuck. No, I'm using my inspiration on that.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah!
A little better.
A little bit.
He seems genuinely honest. And what he says next also seems very honest. Well, you are doing this to, I assume, save the people of Corvosa from a terrible dictator type of situation. I am doing this because if I don't, my goddess will turn me into an unspeakable horror. So I must admit that our goals are slightly different, but I feel like they line up fairly well.
Amelia holds up a finger. Goals are still technically the same. The motivations, however, are different. But yes, I see your meaning. Waves her hand. Regardless, I suppose. Looks back at Weary, just kind of like, yes or no?
Clicks her beak. Either way, I am outnumbered.
You haven't heard my vote yet.
Then let us hear it.
I'm waiting for you.
Amelia.
I asked first.
Make a decision.
I asked her first.
Just stares at you.
Regardless of how much we may or may not trust him at this point, our goals do align fairly well, and he has proven to be valuable, so yes. We should tell him.
Cheeks kind of puff out.
Then it appears the vote is decided.
Should I ask my dad? Good one. Oh, jeez.
Weary claps her hands. Are we taking him with us to the Callow Mounds?
I suppose it depends on if he wants to come with us to the Callow Mounds.
To clarify, and are there other, like, you said that he was seated at a table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other chairs there?
Yeah, there's a few chairs. You might have to drag one over, but yes.
She will, as quietly as she can, drag one of the table. She's gonna drag one of the tables over to the chairs. No, she'll drag one of the chairs over to the table as quietly as she can, settle down, and clasp her hands out in front of him, out in front of her.
So, to clarify, like I said, it is a he, not a she. The person that you refer to as the queen is not actually the queen, but instead Gadrian Lamb, who is a small-time crime lord turned very large-time crime lord, who has assumed the position of the queen in order to take over the entirety of Corvosa.
He spins this entire explanation with his palms down on the table, looking at you. And when you kind of finish, he kind of looks at you for a second, and then, huh.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see that.
Most people don't. So, to clarify, we need to leave so that we can know how to kill Gadrian permanently. And then, I suppose, try and rebuild as best as we can. But in order to do that, there's somewhere else that we need to go because the answers are not in Corvosa. They're out in the desert.
Sorry, I wanted to ask, what are your feelings on the Shawanti?
The who?
That's a band. Good try.
That answers my question. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I am not the most familiar with your surface civilization.
No, that's fine. The Shawanti are just a highly suppressed group of individuals who had originally lived on this land and were the ones who defeated the evil that is currently the thing that Gadrian is tapping into the first time.
They're like Snurfeblin. I see. Well, then you subjugate them, right?
No.
Ah. Quaint.
Would it be nature to know what a Snurfneblin is?
Yes. You've heard of them. They're like underground.
Fucking Ria over here.
Ria, you've studied them. They're like underground gnomes. They live in the Underdark. They tend to be, from what you know, Ria, decent, honorable people. They've got some strange ways, but, you know, They're not so bad.
Is that your response? She just starts laughing.
No, that's my response to getting a fucking crit on a completely irrelevant check.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh, um,
There goes the only one for the game.
yeah. Um, we don't subjugate them.
No, and we're going to be going over there to also ask for aid in this fight. So if you could not insult or suggest subjugating them into slavery, that would probably help.
Then I will be sure not to do so.
Thank you.
He nods. Well, if you're asking if I want to go with you, the answer to that would be no. My place is here. But if you have any questions that I can answer for you, or favors that I can do for you in the sake of our alliance, I am more than happy to do so.
Sure, that also works. I figure we might have questions.
Advise one thing. Not as a favor, but for your own protection, as I will be doing the same. I advise that you brush up on every piece of knowledge you can get your hands on about dragons.
Dragons. Like that big black one that's been rampaging through the streets.
Like the ones I've heard the Grey Maidens are now summoning to aid them.
I'm sorry, what?
You did
Yeah,
not
his
mention
eyes widen.
Weary, when were you going to mention that?
Okay, this is on me, the player. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot. I'm so
That's
sorry.
100% fine, and
She
also
probably would have mentioned this beforehand.
and also demons, dragons,
Yeah, that.
and
Sorry.
demons.
Fuck. I total brain fart did not
Christ.
remember that.
It's fine. I feel like the dragons are the more important part. It's not like Winston's are important. We're fine here.
No, they've just got little gnomes that they're gonna throw about you. You know, that's about it.
You were concerned about how your son was doing.
Right? You had issues.
I just love the idea of like she's just casually like, yeah, you might want to brush up on your history of dragons, like the ones that the Grey Maidens are summoning, and literally everyone just slow turns to
Sorry,
Miri,
I'm
like,
sorry. I'm
What?
sorry.
As an afterthought, oh, the demons as well.
No, hey, I mean, it's up to you how you want to play it. It's totally understandable too. Miri's got a lot of shit on her mind right now. It's up to you.
I think it's funnier this way.
It is funnier this way, and I think we'll probably keep it. But
Okay.
just understand that I'm
Right.
so sorry.
No,
That's
it's
on me.
totally fine. But I mean, it's understandable for Murray. She's worried about her son. She's worried about the city being sacrificed. It's fine that this detail, in light of everything else, slipped her mind.
So on the tail end of that, she pauses. Demons too, I've heard, though of what kind. I'm afraid I can't help you.
I'm sorry, what?
So, undead, and now demons and dragons. Okay.
Wait, the Grey Maidens have undead? Marcus says, looking at Ross.
Sorry, I was just counting on the new things I have to learn about. Not.
Oh. Wait, no, this is still bad. What do you mean the Grey Maidens are summoning dragons and demons?
Heard
Everyone.
mention of the great evil that is being tapped into in order to fuel the unkillable creature that now rules this city, correct?
Yes.
And a lot of drow think that that's Lolth, correct?
Correct.
But
Which
do
it
you
is.
know what it is?
He looks at his hands. I have been told certain things, and he
So
looks
no.
up. Oh, what the hell? Yes, kind of, maybe. I have a name. And I have the name Kazavorn, and there's supposed to be an ancient blue dragon. I'm not supposed to be telling you that. I'm not telling you that. This is not a conversation we are having.
Waves a hand. Knowledge I already had. This conversation did not happen. But now you know why dragons are important.
Yes, I can see your point. And they're summoning more, you say?
She shrugs. Of what color, caliber? I don't know. But I know that they are.
He nods. Right. Well, that will certainly make my job fun. Any other advice you have? I am, despite my sarcasm, all ears.
As the player, I don't think I have anything else that I
No,
can really impart
you've
on.
hit the important parts. That are
Okay,
the
cool.
important bits.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
So, do you have plans or things while we're gone that, I mean, maybe we could help facilitate?
Plans? Plans is a strong word. I like to think that I have goals. Goal number one being some way of exposing Iosa as a fraud and a charlatan. So, ideally, finding some sort of evidence for this Kazavor that I can show my brethren and sisters. Actually, that's my only goal. Believe it or not, simple goal, one goal. That's it. No real plans as of yet, though.
Vague destination. Got it. Alright. Well, if we get any information that will aid in that, we will. Are you just going to wait in this house?
No, absolutely not. I am going to finish my breakfast and my lovely chat with you individuals, and then I am going to make my way through the streets to the lovely underside of the city and start pumping them for any information I can.
A quick thought on that. You've been around long enough to hear about blackjack, right?
Yes.
If you should see someone dressed similar, be careful.
I see. Has this vigilante exposed me? Am I to be worried? Are they hunting me?
No, but he is not actually Blackjack and seems to be fighting with the Grey Maidens.
Ah,
So just something to keep an eye out for.
so since you know that he is not actually Blackjack, then you know who Blackjack really is. Do tell.
No, hey, hang on, hold up, wait a minute.
Good job.
No, he's always been someone who fought with and for the people, and seeing him fight against the Grey Maidens.
He just kind of puts his chin on his hand with a grin. Mm-hmm.
We should get stands up, starts walking towards the door.
You could have just told him that we're not at liberty to say. She starts walking towards the door.
Before we get too far out of the door, so I, the player, don't remember the name of the private eye.
The man that you got killed.
But I wanted to suggest them as maybe a possible resource or place to start.
Oh, you're gonna ruin
Why?
this life.
He's gonna see a drow pop up at his front door and shit himself on the spot.
That's the
Let me pull up my notes real quick because I was not expecting to have his name at the ready. Let's see here.
This poor man. If he has lived this long, you're going to give him a heart attack.
That's
Still
it. My
alive.
father was right. I should have stayed a farmer.
Let's see.
Oh my god. Ross, no.
Ross, yes.
This poor man. He didn't ask for this.
Do I not have it? It must be somewhere else. Give me a second. It must not be in these notes. Must be in other notes.
Unacceptable.
I know. Where did I put him?
Valentine.
Oh no, don't tell me he was in my Fantasy Ground notes.
Oh no!
He might have been. Because he's not in my book 2 notes, which is where you met him.
I mean, I can spend some time going back through and
No,
finding names.
I will. I need to. I will do so.
In the meantime, we can call him Paul.
Sure. In the meantime, we will call him Paul, and then I'll go through the past tapes and the archives and find his actual name, because yeah, I believe that it was a note I made in Fantasy Grounds and lost it.
Shit.
That's fine. It's not necessary for the story to move forward, and I can find him later because we have the archives. But for the moment, yes, Paul. Marcus will look at you and say, "And this man is what? He finds secrets for a living?"
Exactly. That's exactly what he does. Yes. He was supposed to be looking up some information for me about the judges in the city, but that was a long time ago. He might be free. He would probably be a good resource to help. You said you were going to contact the underground.
He nods. That was my plan. Well then, I will pay a visit to this Paul.
Here, I was supposed to give him some money the last time, so Ross gives Marcus 25 gold.
Oh my god.
Talk to him, please, to make sure he gets this. It'll make him much more helpful, I hope.
He will pocket the gold and say, "I will do so, though allow me to give you a friendly bit of advice. Don't hand money out to people you have no reason to trust like that."
That's an excellent test, too.
Did we ever find his shit?
Marcus?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. No?
Did we?
What do you mean by
In
his shit?
the
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, in the Death's Head Vault, did we get his shit?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
No, you just outfitted him in all your best magical items.
I think we couldn't find anything of his.
To be fair, he had been there a long time.
that's fair.
It's fine. We got money. Fuck him.
And in all honesty, he'll let you know it's not like he had anything extraordinarily useful. It was armor, weapons, and normal stuff that he can replace fairly easily.
In this economy,
Well,
What economy?
another
Exactly.
reason to visit the underworld. But let us say I am not without my resources.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you. You as well. And may we find a better and brighter future for myself and your city.
Right.
I would.
Also, I think I need to go talk to my mother about something.
Wonderful. He says, turning back to his breakfast. Like, what does he care if you need to go talk to your mom?
She's talking to the party.
I know.
Is everything okay?
Oh, just the bit about summoning dragons and demons.
Yep. We should let's go. Herding everyone out of the door.
Yes, now that you bring it to my attention, I likely should debrief Cressida before we leave again.
Maybe just a little bit.
So, you guys make your way back to the Greys? You make your way back to the Greys, and as you enter the Dead Warrens again, you find it a hustle and bustle of activity, people moving to and fro.
How hard is it to find Cadence and Claire?
Not too hard. Give me a second.
How hard is it to find Cressida? Because I'll let you do your thing, Rhea, and then I'll talk to Cressida.
Cressida? It's not hard at all.
She's-
I mean,
She's-
they can
I'm chewing out
just be
very.
briefed all at the same time.
Cressida's gonna be in her office most likely.
Very.
Yeah, she's gonna go. I'm gonna
Mhm.
go rescue Varric for about 15 minutes.
Cadence and Claire are, you actually would find them down to the south, in the same room with Eli and Cinnabar, actually.
Okay. What does it seem like they're all doing?
They are actually doing something rather strange.
Oh dear.
Well, strange to most people. Probably not the strangest to Rhea, at least not the first time she's seen it. They are sitting on the floor, cross-legged, knee to knee. And they are all just quiet, their eyes closed. And as you walk in, Rhea, you've seen this. This is a technique that your father used to use to quiet people's minds and to help them see things for what they are and not what they want them to be. And it was a therapy technique.
Mhm.
And as you walk in the room, Cinnabar says with her eyes still closed, "This is silly." And Claire goes, "I agree, this is ridiculous." And Kate says, "Shut up, both of you."
Ria's sort of standing on the other side of the room. You can't argue that it doesn't work, though.
You open your eyes, and I think there would be a little surprise coming from you, Rhea, because, like, your mom trying this technique? This is more of a dad thing.
She's watching it with absolute humor. Like, this is not at all the kind of thing that her mom and Claire do.
Roll me an insight check.
With a pleasure.
Claire, absolutely not.
11.
That's good enough. It's with your family. Actually, no. Roll with advantage. Roll one more time because it is your family.
15.
Yeah. Okay. From the look on your mom's face of exasperation, seems like she's trying to be your dad the best she can.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, he used to do this, and it always worked. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
She would open her eyes, stand up, and stare at the other three. Keep trying. Ah! Claire starts to say something. She holds up a finger. Claire just kind of sighs and closes her eyes. Cadence will come over and hug you. I don't know how he did this.
Looks over around her mom at Claire with a bit more patience, I believe.
Well, that man was a saint when it came to patience, and I am more of a failed acolyte. What brings you here?
Well, I admit I do have questions as to what started this. If I can wait. We have, some very important news as to, some happenings with the Grey Maidens.
I see.
It is quite possible that they are summoning creatures, specifically dragons and the demonic.
Her eyes widen. Oh. Oh, good. I suppose we shouldn't find this as a surprise. Fiends tend to summon fiends. But it is disturbing. Well, then she'll cup a hand on Ria's cheek. Never you worry, dear. If there are demons about, nothing better than some paladins to take care of it,
She nods. Not really worried about that at the moment. Still focusing on the group. I believe Mary's going to speak with Cressida about it if you would like to be a part of that. And, I could. She points behind her mom towards the group if you want.
The look of relief that floods your mother's face is phenomenal.
Exactly what I imagined.
She will hug Ria tightly. Everyone, I have very important matters of state to attend to. Ria is taking over. As she starts leaving the room, and Claire jumps up, not without me, and starts following your mom.
Expected that as well.
Leaving Cinnabar and Eli.
Ria would go sit down with them.
Hello, Ria, Eli says.
Hello. Hello again, Cinnabar.
Cinnabar just looks away.
So, what exactly brought on this, circle?
I believe your mother was attempting to heal Cinnabar. You hear like a harumph from Cinnabar. There's nothing to heal. I failed. I should already be dead. Right, yeah, she said something about meditation centering the mind, and quieting the emotions. I understand. I'm very familiar with it, but Cinnabar is a red mantis. They are... well, their minds are not quiet.
Right. Well, and Ria would sort of adjust herself and sit up straight and channel her father as best she can. Let's see if we can't maybe work a bit of this out.
Alright. Ria, I'd like you to roll me a charisma check, please. That's not
Can
bad. Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to
There's
think.
a lot going on.
So you start to lead them through the exercise properly, as your father would have done.
Sure, it's not performance.
Well, I'm thinking not, because I feel like it's more... Yeah, you know what? Performance. Roll me a performance, because I'm trying to think what this would be, right? Sometimes 5e doesn't do the best when it comes to skills.
Yeah.
But performance, yeah, I agree. How closely can you mimic what your father would do in a session? So roll me a performance.
Thank God.
You literally rolled a 6, a 5, and a 6.
Ria, honey.
You
No, I won't use your inspiration for this. Thank you, though.
You lead them through the exercise, and you find some difficulty getting Cinnabar to focus. However, Eli seems to fall into it very easily. And with time, probably not too much, but however much time you have, you try several different techniques to get Cinnabar to quiet. And after several tries and failed attempts, you settle on a technique. Tell you what, I'm gonna drag Ria to secrets real quick.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. We'll be right back, everybody.
Oh.
Bye.
All right.
I thought I did so well.
Aha! Sorry about that stream. I had to mute myself real quick. We are going to jump over to Murray real quick, and we'll come back. Murray, you make your way over to Cressida's office. Anyone else going with Murray?
Amelia will join her.
All right, which would mean Annika too. Electric Boogaloo.
I was just saying, I love the idea of Ross like standing in the hallway trying to follow along.
Oh, of the meditation?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You know, she always wanted to try therapy.
Uh-huh.
You're welcome to join them.
She doesn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to intrude. She's like that one person that's not part of the Zumba class, but they just watch it.
Exactly.
They stand outside with their face pressed into the glass.
Mm-hmm.
If I sat down with the group, I might actually have to share with the group.
Hmm.
So, you guys make your way into Cressida's office. The door is closed, but a simple knock in acknowledgement of who you are, you are beckoned to come inside. And when you come inside, you notice two things immediately. Varric standing off to the side, at attention, eyes on the floor, and no glove on his hand. But Cressida at her desk, writing something on a document with one hand and a glove on her left hand.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Is he wearing?
He is not
The
wearing the
ring?
ring, no.
Oh. So Mary steps inside. There's about 10 seconds where she looks at him and looks at her. Cressida, as if you don't have enough on your shoulders.
She looks up. I'm sorry, Murray. Could you be a bit more specific?
You took the ring.
Ah, that. Yes. She just goes back to filling out paperwork.
Mary narrows her eyes. That is not a thing to gloss over.
Cressida will sigh and put down her pen. Varric. Varric looks up. I feel like I need some coffee. Yes, Cressida. And Varric will leave the room like a kicked puppy.
Buddy.
And as soon as he is gone, Cressida's face grows far less stern. He has been through far too much already, Murray. I will not have him carrying that burden too. It was killing him. Or
Mary
might as well
narrows-
have been.
Mary narrows her eyes. It's the kind of thing that wears on you. Like months of leading an insurrection against a tyrant, Cressida.
Cressida meets your eyes for a bit, and then looks away. What would you have me do, Murray?
Give it to me.
You can't have it until a week from now, Mary.
Then when a week is done, I will take it from you.
She shakes her head. You would hold on to it. I intend to get rid of it.
How?
Well, my first thought, and keep in mind that this is only my first thought, I intend to find she hesitates. Very unfortunate enemy, and hold them down at sword point until they choose to take it. That was my first thought, but I have others.
Question, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Per the rules of the ring, would that actually work?
I don't see why
'Cause
not,
they have
as long as
to-
they willingly take it. If you say something along the lines of, take this ring or I'll run you through, that is still a choice they are making willingly. The only way it wouldn't work...
Couldn't scare the shit out of them.
Right, the only way it wouldn't work is if you magically compelled them.
Okay.
I mean, it is an item created by an evil being,
Yep.
That's
so
Doesn't Zon-Kazan have a following?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they be ecstatic to have an item that their god made?
Mm-hmm.
Can we give it to one of them? They'll
If
appreciate
you
it.
can find one, absolutely, they probably would love it.
Yeah.
But I
no.
mean, Cressa doesn't know anything about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
No,
She was
the
just gonna
religious
find
type is
she was
moving.
just gonna find the first enemy she could, beat the shit out of him, and make him take it.
Okay, that works too.
Sankason is also the brother of Rhea's gods.
Mhm.
Do with that what you will.
Size. So long as you are not planning on keeping it for yourself.
She looks at Murray a bit surprised. I have more than enough to deal with without adding this to my permanent list of responsibilities. No, I simply could not bear watching him suffer.
Glares at Amelia.
Give me a second here. Do I have... I do not have a character sheet for her here. That's fine. That's cool. I would have need to made a new one for her anyway. She's improved greatly since. She would look at Amelia. Don't worry about it, Amelia. Varric told me. I can be a bit more hard-nosed than you can towards him. Let's just say there's some training he hasn't forgotten, and when his superior orders him to do something that vigorously, well, don't beat yourself up. Also, I rolled a 2 on a D100.
What it was. Jesus Christ.
She was going to see that, she was not going to have it, and he was going to fight it, and she rolled a 2. That poor kid never had a chance.
Nope.
It's basically you are giving this to me now, but I said now. What's Varric gonna do?
Did not a damn thing.
Wary sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose, draws up a chair.
Besides, in the meantime, I'll be able to open any jar of pickles that I come across. She says with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes.
Question.
The most fearsome of all of the enemies you will face.
Question, God. Have you rolled for her yet?
No, I haven't. I probably should.
Uh-huh.
Roll max.
A little bit. Which means she still has surprises ahead of her.
Mm-hmm. She's just like, it's not that bad yet. Next morning.
Yeah.
Take it back, take it back, take it back.
And Cressida will... When you say that, Murray, the smile does touch her eyes. So, you're all headed out again, I assume?
Though not before having this lovely conversation with you. Though it does seem that you are busy. She looks over her shoulder at the door where the hustle and bustle is outside.
Not too busy to talk to you, my friend.
You'll find it interesting to note that I had a very peculiar conversation with my son yesterday.
She stops what she's doing as Varric enters the room again with a tray of small cups and catches eyes with Annika, then looks away and starts handing small cups of some sort of drink to Amelia, Mary and Cressida.
Chug, chug.
Fuck no. That is coffee.
Chug, chug, chug.
Uh-huh.
God. Has Amelia had coffee before? She wouldn't have had coffee before.
Well, it is creamed and sugared up.
Oh, thank God.
Still tastes gross.
Yep.
And
I'm going to take a tiny cup and set it in front of her.
Cressida says, I don't remember as a DM if you've ever told me if your son leads the Grey Maidens or not.
She knows.
She
Oh,
knows.
yeah, she
okay,
knows.
good.
I mean,
Oh,
how
God.
many Kadal really are
Right.
there in this
Well,
city?
I know.
Cressida's breaking the fourth wall.
Uh-huh.
Cressida
Yeah, no,
goes,
she knows.
You're obviously safe and whole, and there's not a bone in my body that would ever think you could betray us, so then I assume your son is attempting to defect? She looks at you hopefully.
Mary closes her eyes. In his own way. I
What-
think he is trapped beyond his ability to extricate himself.
I see. Unfortunate. I hate to say this, Mary, but your son is very talented, and that makes things incredibly difficult for us.
I know. I understand. She taps her claws on the table. He is, as we all are, capable of great and terrible things. His father's stubborn heart.
Cressida nods. And what information did he tell you during your conversation?
For my help. He has before encouraged me to leave this city behind and go far away. But I think he understands now that this is far beyond his ability to salvage. He had been trying, I think, to stem the flow, if you will. Sacrifice a few to save many.
She nods. Not typically how I like to operate, but I understand.
And I think, given recent events, he is under the impression that that is no longer possible.
How so?
From what he told me, by means outside of my understanding, Adrian is planning to sacrifice the entire city. And everyone in it.
You mean he's going to abandon his position?
No, in a ritual sacrifice, likely in order to gain power.
Is that possible?
Mary shrugs helplessly. Even having been face to face with the Puppet Queen, I could not tell you the full extent of his power. All we know is that, as of now, we lack the means to kill him. That will change.
I see. How much time do we have?
We don't know.
Where he looks between Amelia and Cressida. He had precious little time to spend, and he spent it warning me. I'm sorry I could not get more information from him.
She nods. Varric, find Timronian. Bring him here immediately. Varric nods.
If you would, please. He seems like the type of man who has access to plenty of books, and he will likely want to bring some. The source of Gadrian's power is what the Drow believe is Loth, but what we now know is a very large and very old blue dragon.
Varric nods and hurries out of the room.
Mm-hmm. And according to what my son is saying, the Grey Maidens are going to start, or have already started, summoning in dragons and fiends to aid them.
Cressida.
I am afraid things are about to get very bad and very dangerous.
Cressida's eyes widen. I see. That is... And she just kind of seems at a loss for words. Like, how do you respond to that, right? Like, oh, hey, the enemy that you're facing that's already overpowering you, also dragons and demons. She is quiet for a long time. I am out of my depth here. I don't know anything about dragons or demons. I know how to maintain order in a city, how to imprison people, even how to lead an insurrection, but dragons and demons are not my forte.
I understand the sentiment, believe me. Mary clicks her claws on the table. We will be going to the Cinderlands to see what answers the Shawanti can give us. And of course, once given, I will endeavor to share them with you as quickly as I can. But I don't know where you're going to go from here, Cressida.
She nods. Well, no matter how powerful the enemy, that doesn't change what we have to do. We have to survive. I've been thinking about it. And things might change depending on what information we find, but at the moment, engaging them directly, if I have learned anything from our attack on Death's Head Vault, is folly. They are more powerful than we are, and we do not have the strength we need to engage them head on. Maybe if we can get help from the Shawanti, but at the moment, We need to survive. We need to keep our heads down. We need to limit what we do to very specific and very important things. We need to keep them from finding us, and most importantly, we need to survive. Until you can find a way to end this once and for all, or get me the strength I need to fight a war, I do not want to bleed people in a battle I cannot win.
Mary inclines her head. I think that is very wise of you. And if there is any other aid I can get you in the interim, please let me know.
She nods, and as she nods, Varric comes back into the room, followed by Timronian. Ah! Hello, my friends. It's a pleasure to see you as always. How can I be of service?
Oh, would Rhea, would Cadence be on her way?
Oh, yeah, they would be at this moment. So we'll say that they all come in together. They met up in the hallway. I don't have a token for Cadence, but I got Claire. Claire's there representing the Rhea family.
They're both occupying the same space. Cadence seems very annoyed.
Cressida will very quickly relay what you have told her already, just to spare you the having to do so again. Timronian seems very troubled by this. Well, it is possible. Yes, many things are if you have enough power. And I could tell you that if you were able to sacrifice an entire city, and I do say if, the amount of... Well, there's only one reason why I could see you would ever want to do such a thing. And he kind of looks around. Well, isn't it obvious?
To become a god.
Timronian will nod to Amelia. Indeed. The only reason why I could see that you would need that kind of sacrifice was to raise yourself to some sort of immortality or deity.
Become unkillable.
Oh, more than just unkillable. Iosa is already unkillable, more or less. No, this would raise her to godhood. Imagine being able to be part of the Pantheon, to be able to wipe out your opposition with the wave of a hand. And Cressida nods. Very enlightening, thank you, but how do we fight this?
Well, that's why we need to leave.
Yes, our friends here are on a quest to find a way to kill Iosa. Beyond that, if you plan on sacrificing an entire city, there are preparations. This is not something that you can just do. It takes time and effort and work and preparation, he says, thinking.
What?
Well, in order to perform a ritual of any sort, of any power, you need several things. You need the items of power that are required by it. You need your, of course, sacrifice. You need a place to perform the ritual. And since I assume the city itself will not be where the ritual will be held, the city must have sigils to act as the altar, I suppose you could say. I imagine that Iosa would not perform the ritual here within the city itself, otherwise she would become one of the sacrificed. So, she must have a place outside the city where she intends to run it, and the city itself, being an altar, would have, like I said, sigils, signs, markers, perhaps obelisks, something. It changes and varies depending on the technique, but there will be items.
So if we can find those items or markings and destroy or disturb them,
It could delay.
Will at least delay her.
It would not stop completely. There are ways around it, but absolutely it would delay it. I can... And he squints his eyes. I can certainly help you find what they might be, but I think there's something else here we're not considering. If you were attempting to perform a very large magic ritual, it would be incredibly helpful to have the aid of one of the largest magic academies in this world. Especially a magic academy known for its, shall we say, amorality.
oh, for fuck's sake.
Precisely why I
It's
have
many
nothing to do with them.
acolytes who are, and it's many students who are skilled in the arts of summoning. Very interesting.
He nods. On top of that, I have noticed these past weeks a distinct increase in imps. The pseudo-dragons are starting to lose ground in their battles. I cannot be sure, but if I were Iosa and I were trying to accomplish such a task, I would bend the academy to my will. And that is very bad news. Right now, the Academy's official stance is that they have nothing to do with the problems going on with the city and have secluded themselves ever since the quarantine. But what if they're not?
They're preparing for the ritual.
After all, you said they are summoning demons and dragons, no? Wouldn't it be very convenient to have a place to do so already made?
Fuck.
Claire goes, so we assault the academy, we take it out. Everyone just kind of looks at her.
Yeah, Amelia just like slowly turns to her and goes,
Yes, assault the Mage Academy, full of mages who are highly skilled and trained.
I love that you just talked to my sister like she was a fucking idiot.
She actually is like nodding at what you're saying, obviously taking a different meaning than what you are giving. Yes, attack the Mage Academy that is filled with mages. Uh-huh. And Cadence puts a hand on her shoulder. Maybe, but not yet, and not now. We'd lose more than we gain. But if we know that's where they're coming from, perhaps we can somehow contain it, control it, stem the tide. At the very least, we'll know where these creatures are being summoned. And she looks at Cressida. It's more information than we had yesterday.
Okay. Well, this is progress. That's good.
Cressida nods. So, we will attempt to find these sigils, see what we can do to delay their progress. And we'll see if there's any way to contain or at least stem the flow from the academy. And we will do everything that we can to avoid attention and direct conflict. Yes, Marie.
No, after this.
I got you. But this will all be simply to buy you time. She looks at you guys. Time to find a solution, a way to kill Iosa. And time to get me strength. You must make that alliance with Shawanti. We don't have a choice anymore. Because sooner or later we are going to have to openly confront them. Sooner or later we are going to have to take down the academy and take back our city.
All right. So, question: with all of the demons that we've encountered so far, with all of the different like magic stuff that we've seen them do with, would I be able to roll an arcana to see if there's like anything that comes to mind that would be more likely to be something that they should look for?
You mean as like a sigil?
Like something something
Sure.
that would
Roll me
be
an arcana.
more, yeah.
And while you do that, Mary, what was your plus?
Uh, while this is happening, Mary will say,
No.
"Excuse me a moment.
Hang on.
Don't you have an inspiration, babe?"
Fuck
Hey.
me.
Uh-huh. You were saying...
Mary will say, "Excuse me a moment," and step out.
Okay.
What, Tim Roney is not gonna help me or something? No, it's fine. God damn it.
Yeah,
Well,
you
if anybody
don't...
has a bonkers arcana score, it's probably him.
You don't know exactly what would be used to summon demons. However, you do know magical circles when you see them. And these items would have to contain magical circles either in large or small form. So, in theory, it could be pillars with magical circles on them. Magical circles written on the ground and somehow disguised or covered. Magical circles written on the wall. One thing you do know is that most likely these aren't going to be small. They're probably going to be many feet. So it's not like you can just draw one on a stone and cast it somewhere, right? This is going to be something that's like the size of a person, maybe, or bigger, because you're talking about sacrificing a city here.
Uh-huh.
We know like how many we're talking about. How many would there have to be?
That roll would not tell you.
Perhaps if we would be able to corral the, well, not corral, corral's the wrong word. Perhaps if we could convince the pseudo dragons to assist, they have a far better view of the city from the
Why I
sky.
stepped out.
Yeah.
Why I stepped out of the room.
And while Wary is out of the room, Timurnian goes, I would love to, but the pseudo-dragons are very proud. I've attempted to talk to many of them, and they have never been interested in doing anything but their own affairs. No, I don't believe that'll be possible.
Majenko is very helpful.
I am sorry, who? Cut to Mary outside the room.
Mary, who steps off to the side and reaches up to her shoulder where Majenko sits and runs her hands over his wings. I fear sacrifice would mean your people too.
Yes, it would. Those that call Corvosa home.
Your people are losing ground, and there will only be more demons.
And more than imps, yes.
They be reasoned with. I know they are prideful. They have every right to be. Long have they owned the skies here. But this is no longer a matter of pride, this is a matter of survival.
He flutters his wings uncomfortably. I might be able to bring them to see reason. No, I know I could. But my place is by your side, Murray. I do not have time. We must go.
Murray's shoulders sag. Oh, my dear friend. I cannot give you an order. I can only ask you. I do not want to leave you here. But these are desperate times, and they call for desperate measures.
And I cannot refuse a question you ask of me, friend. And I know it is necessary. But neither can I leave you alone. He stands up. I will send one to you before you leave. Come outside the gray. And please take care of yourself.
Mary scoops him off her shoulder and pulls him into a hug.
I will make them listen. We will find these sigils. I swear it.
I know you will. But above all things, my friend, I do not want to lose you.
A sentiment I share with you. Come outside the gray to the gray before you leave. Promise me.
Swear it on my life.
He nods. Bumps your forehead.
I will see you off. Come. And she will trot off down the hall.
Okay. Back in the room.
Where is Majenko? The pseudo-dra... Never mind.
Are
it's
you
fine.
telling me that's not just some fey spirit, but an actual pseudo-dragon?
Well, yes. We
Fascinating.
saved him from... Just waves her hand. He's been with us for a very long time.
I was unaware. I assumed they were simply a powerful familiar.
You'll find that our familiars tend to be more than just summons.
Annika squints at him.
He will nod. Well, if they could be brought to our side, they would be powerful eyes and ears. Pseudo-dragons are highly intelligent creatures. Cressida nods. Timronian, start working with my guards. See if you can't locate these sigils quietly. And then she'll turn to you, Amelia. We will buy you all the time you need, but please, hurry. We cannot begin to take back the city until we know there is a way to win.
I know. We'll work as quickly as possible.
She nods. And I will make sure that the city still stands when you get back. One way or the other. Varric. And Varric looks up. I believe it's about time for you to go AWOL again. Varric kind of shrugs uncomfortably. And Cressida just waves her hand. Oh, grow a sense of humor, Varric. Go with them. Right, of course. And he will go to stand next to you.
Oh, right. Before we go,
Amelia steps a little closer to Cressida.
I know you probably think that it's not really all that much right now, but trust me, there's going to be days where it's very, 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 very bad, and you're not going to see it coming. And trust me, icing your hand until it's numb is not going to help.
She leans in. You mean it gets worse?
Nods slowly every day at dawn.
She nods. Right. Thank you for the warning.
Just nods slowly. Like, she's been taking it way too well so far, so it's gotta be an easy day.
Mm-hmm. And like taking it really well, easy day, and she's still like, it gets worse.
Yeah. Oh god, I think Amelia got like one of the worst possible rolls for the first time.
Well, and even in the description of the item is even on the
Mhm.
lesser days, this thing is agonizing.
Mm-hmm.
There is no easy day with this ring.
Yeah, so
She nods.
Just. I know you're going to say that you will, but I mean it. Please, take care of yourself.
She nods.
there's a brief moment where Amelia pauses and then gives her a small, like, quick hug.
She will return the embrace. Be careful, all of you. Don't worry, we'll come see you off.
It's
Anyway,
looks over.
no,
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was gonna say meanwhile. I don't know why I said anyway, but you are not done. So yes, you were saying.
Oh, just
Timoni's just. You also be careful and try not to. Maybe be nice to the pseudo dragons when they start helping.
just a thought. She's like walking out the door.
He actually nods his head. I would be nothing but respectful to them. They are highly intelligent creatures.
Keeps walking.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, back in the other room, the Zumba class with the Ross listening with her face pressed against it.
How tall are the roofs by the ceilings in here, by the way?
I think about 10 feet.
Oh, okay.
You want to go sit on the roof just above Rhea?
Not immediately.
Yeah, these are
Oh my God.
these are basically caves.
Mm-hmm.
It's technically
Alright.
an option.
It is.
It'd be a little taller in the room, but in the hallway where you are, about 10 feet.
Okay. So, Rhea again, she sort of just shakes herself out for a moment and tries to just focus. You can do this. You've trained for how many years now? You can do this. And then settles herself in again and looks over towards Cinnabar. Right. So, you were a red mantis, correct?
I am a red mantis.
Of course. Why did you join them?
She pauses. I once had a husband, a family. The Black Rose came for them. A contract. And no one ever escapes the Black Rose. When I lost them, I craved vengeance. I went after her, and I got far enough that I must have impressed her. I was taken and given the honor of being a red mantis. Eli will look at you directly. She was imprisoned and broken.
She would nod to him. Do you know how long ago that was, Cinnabar? That you last had the opportunity to see your family?
5 years ago, I think. A lifetime.
Hmm. And what do you imagine they would think now?
I don't understand.
With and she just shakes her head for a moment and thinks about it. And instead says, no matter what phase of life we find ourselves in, far too often we're our own harshest critics. You go on about how you failed and you deserve death, but that's not the case. It's important to ensure that we treat ourselves in the same way that we would treat one of our dearest loved ones. Do you understand?
No. I am a tool, a weapon.
No. You are a person.
She is quiet for a long time. I am a person.
Now, for a moment, I know it might be harmful, but just... or not harmful, it might be painful, but just... trust me. Please. Think about your family, the people you loved. It's easy to recognize the beauty and greatness in the people around us that we love, but she looks directly into her eyes. What about yourself? It's important that you be your own friend as well. I understand that there can be a sort of disconnect if it's something foreign after a time. The solution is to try and see yourself as your loved ones did. How did your husband see you? How did friends see you? Believe that you are worth helping. You have a vital mission in this world, and you are important in this world to others, and you are morally obligated to take care of yourself. You are not your own or anyone else's possession to torture and mistreat, because your being is tied up with that of others. Therefore, mistreating yourself will harm others. You deserve sympathy for merely being alive and shouldering the burden of existence. So, again... Oh, go ahead.
No, no, please.
Oh, right.
I just
Uh,
hit my mic.
Sorry. So, again, treat yourself as you would a loved one. You don't see their faults, and you want to care for them. This means taking care of yourself, getting healthier physically, mentally, in any means, expanding your knowledge, pursuing goals that you want, articulating your principles. You have to keep the promises you make to yourself. Think for a moment. What would my life look like if I were caring for myself properly? Having a vision for your life forces you through obstacles towards your goals. I recall hearing my father once say that those whose lives have a why can bear almost anyhow. If you have your own purpose for your life, you can withstand anything thrown against you. You know what your personal hell is like, so decide against going there or creating it. And she pauses for a moment to watch Cinnabar.
Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. $22.
Cinnabar listens to your words and closes her eyes. And there's a long moment of silence. And then, quietly at first, she starts sobbing. Tears start running down her face. And she breaks down. Eli kind of grabbing her by the shoulders and helping her. And Rhea, you know that this is, as terrible as this to watch, it's not a bad thing. It is necessary. It is a part of getting through to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that the best course of action is to let it happen.
Right. So she would sort of lay one hand on Eli's shoulders and just sort of nod to him, and then just lay the other on like Cinnabar's knee or something. They're sitting cross-legged, and just sit with her through it.
She will, in time, the sobs get deeper and deeper, and she will eventually gently kind of curl down into a fetal position and just completely let go. Until eventually she falls asleep. That was remarkable, Rhea.
It was necessary.
He nods. I have not seen her show emotion in a long time.
She nods slowly, This was a very good and very important first step, but. And she looks over at Cinnabar's sleeping form. She has quite a way to go.
He nods. Still, the first step. I only wish that we would be able to see it through. But I guess our path lies elsewhere for now.
For now.
You looked like your father.
She freezes for a moment, watching Cinnabar, before asking, "Did I?"
He nods. To choose a haunt is to know them. I know things about Rolth that I wish for Amelia to never find out. I know the warmth and joy of Paola. And I know your father. You are more like him than you think.
And she smiles. That's comforting, Eli. Thank you.
I am not used to being a comfort. I think I like it.
Then I suppose you should attempt to get used to it. And she would smile and stand up and hold a hand out to him.
He'll take it and let you kind of pull him up as, he's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what I can do. Assuming Shala doesn't kill me first. A
Right.
joke. A joke. Probably.
Right. When we get back to the Callow Mountains, stay with everyone else for a bit. I'm going to have Shala meet with me elsewhere so we can talk.
If you say so.
I think she might do well with some extra time to prepare.
He nods. Okay.
Just don't give up so easily.
He looks as if he was surprised by those words. No, I don't intend to give up. But it is also not my decision to make.
I know, but I think, as you've probably found, and she would look over towards Cinnabar, people can surprise you sometimes. If you give them the chance.
This is most certainly true. Well, we'll see, at least. And with that, I think this is a good place to wrap the session up. As people have work in the morning.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
Next session, we will continue our march towards leaving.
One day. God.
You guys got things to do. You got important
Yeah.
business to attend to. You're giving up a familiar. Harsh
It's fine. We
times.
still have Whirly.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join us next Monday as Mwiri tells Majenko to fly. Fly, you fool. And we'll see you all then. Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.